Welcome. We've got some thrilling Arsenal news lined up for you, so stay tuned until the end to catch all the latest updates. And don't forget to leave 200 likes to keep us motivated in bringing you the latest Arsenal updates. 69 million euros Arsenal star is the Premier League signing of the season, Real Madrid. Media and Arsenal star is the Premier League signing of the season, Real Madrid. Media and Arsenal player overlooked by Real Madrid in the summer of 2025, despite strong backing from Xabi Alonso, delivered a standout display for Mikel Arteta's side this weekend, earning glowing reviews from the Spanish press. Arsenal cruised to a comfortable 3-0 win over Sunderland at the Emirates Stadium on Saturday, stretching their advantage at the top of the Premier League table to 9 points. The North London club are also enjoying success on multiple fronts, having booked a place in the Champions League round of 16 and reached the Carabao Cup final. Martin Zubimendi was among Arsenal's standout performers against Sunderland, breaking the deadlock in the 42nd minute with a superb finish. The 27-year-old has now registered 6 goals and 3 assists in 34 appearances across all competitions this season. The midfielder has adapted seamlessly to English football and has quickly become one of the first names on Mikel Arteta's team sheet. His impact has not gone unnoticed in Spain, where AS has heaped praise on him, branding Zubimendi the Premier League signing of the season and hailing him as a complete midfielder. The Madrid-leaning outlet also highlighted Zubimendi's goal celebration, noting it mirrored the trademark style of his Arsenal and Spain teammate Mikel Merino in a gesture of support for the injured midfielder. Such praise has reignited debate in Spain over what Real Madrid may have missed out on. Los Blancos remain keen to add a midfielder capable of dictating play and controlling matches. According to reports in AS, when Xabi Alonso took charge of Madrid in the summer of 2025, he urged President Florentino Perez to pursue Zubimendi. The player himself reportedly waited several days in the hope of a Madrid bid, but Perez ultimately chose not to proceed. Zubimendi then completed a move from Real Sociedad to Arsenal in a deal worth £60 million, 69 million euros, $81.7 million, structured favourably despite his €60 million release clause. Elsewhere, a pundit has tipped a Newcastle United star to make a move to Arsenal in the summer of 2026, with sources suggesting the Gunners are monitoring the situation closely. Arsenal are also said to be working on a strategy to fend off Bayern Munich's interest in one of their key players. Meanwhile, Real Madrid have reportedly opened talks with a Liverpool player over a potential move in 2026, and both clubs have also been linked with a possible midfielder swap deal. A pundit has claimed he is convinced that an £87 million rated midfielder wants a move to Arsenal, even as reports suggest Real Madrid are preparing a potential record-breaking approach for the Newcastle United star. Another source has backed up claims that Sandro Tonali is keen on joining Arsenal and working under Mikel Arteta. However, interest from Real Madrid has also emerged, with the Spanish giants reportedly monitoring the Italian midfielder's situation at Newcastle. Tomei was offered to Arsenal on the final day of the winter transfer window, but ultimately remained at St James Park. His agent Giuseppe Riso has since confirmed that discussions over the player's future will take place later in the season, raising the possibility of a summer exit. According to Team Talk transfer insider Graham Bailey, Arsenal are among several clubs that have been in contact with Tomei's representatives ahead of a possible move to the Emirates in the summer of 2026. Liverpool and Manchester City are also understood to have made inquiries, while interest from Juventus and Inter Milan remains strong. Sources close to potential negotiations have suggested that if Tomei does leave Newcastle, a return to Italy could be his preferred option, although no final decision has been made. Reports in Italy claim Newcastle would demand around €100 million, £86.7 million, $118 million to part ways with the 25-year-old. Despite that, Football Transfers has reported that Tomei would favour a switch to Arsenal over moves to Manchester City or Chelsea. The report even claims the midfielder personally instructed his agent to explore a possible January move to North London. Former Everton and Aston Villa chief executive Keith Wyness has also tipped Tomei to eventually join Arsenal. Speaking on Football Insider's Inside Track podcast, Wyness suggested Tomei's camp has been actively assessing options, while acknowledging the midfielder's sense of loyalty to Newcastle after the club supported him through a difficult period. Wyness added that Tomei may be attracted by a move to London and the chance to play under Arteta, though he believes a January departure would have been too soon. A summer transfer, he argued, would likely be more acceptable to Newcastle supporters. Meanwhile, Real Madrid are believed to be targeting a new midfielder ahead of the 2026 summer window, with Tomali's name circulating due to uncertainty surrounding his future. While some reports claim the player was offered to Madrid and rejected, others insist the club are considering a significant bid. Italian outlet Tutto Juve has suggested Madrid could be ready to table an opening offer in excess of 75 million euros. If accepted, such a deal would make Tomei the most expensive Italian footballer in history, surpassing the current record held by Matteo Retegui following his 68 million euros move from Atalanta to Al-Qadsiya in 2025. For now, while Arsenal's interest in Tomei is genuine, links to Real Madrid remain speculative. Until major Spanish or international outlets confirm Madrid's pursuit, those reports should be treated with caution. Elsewhere, Arsenal are reportedly working on a strategy to prevent Bayern Munich from securing a high-profile forward in the summer of 2026. The Gunners are also said to be battling Tottenham Hotspur for a former Manchester United midfielder thriving in Serie A. In addition, Real Madrid have allegedly approached a Liverpool star to discuss his future at Anfield, with both clubs also being linked to a possible midfielder swap deal. Arsenal are closing in on a season that could deliver multiple trophies, and their surge has been built on planning and discipline rather than luck. The Gunners have shown sustained consistency and now look closer than ever to collecting silverware, a reward many feel has been coming after years of steady progress. Under Mikel Arteta, Arsenal have taken a clear step forward, developing greater composure, unity and mental strength. In recent months especially, strong collective displays have become routine, and their position across competitions reflects that upward trajectory. There is a growing belief inside the club that this campaign could finally justify the groundwork laid over recent seasons. Preparation behind Arsenal's rise. Arteta has made it clear that Arsenal's current status is no accident. Instead, it stems from defined targets set before the campaign began and a meticulous pre-season programme. That early preparation helped shape the squad's mentality and ensured every player understood the expectations from day one. Arsenal entered the season determined to compete on all fronts, and that ambition has translated into assured, disciplined performances. The manager's focus on preparation has also helped the team handle pressure more effectively and remain consistent during demanding periods. Following Arsenal's recent victory over Sunderland, Arteta reflected on the journey so far and the value of long-term planning. Speaking to Sky Sports, he said, "Before pre-season started, we prepared everything with the intention of being where we are now and making sure the players believed we could achieve it. Then it's about going day by day. That's it." Those comments underline why Arsenal's form has not surprised those inside the club. While there is still work to do, their belief, structure and preparation suggest they are well positioned to see the season through and turn promise into tangible success. Victor Gyökeres, following a familiar Arsenal path, Victor Gyökeres may never replicate the goal-scoring heights of Thierry Henry, but his early Arsenal journey has followed a strikingly similar pattern. The Swedish forward endured a difficult introduction to life in North London before beginning to show signs of momentum. Gyökeres is not the first Arsenal No.14 to struggle in his opening months. During the 1919-2000 season, Henry himself went through a barren spell that fueled the narrative that overseas signings needed time to adapt to the Premier League. At that stage, few saw him as a future icon or record-breaking scorer. Jorge has faced similarly swift judgment. Like Henry, he reached 8 league goals in early February, a milestone he hit after his brace against Sunderland. Reflecting on his early challenges, the striker admitted adaptation was key. When everything in your life changes, you have to adjust quickly. It's a challenge. Henry arrived at Arsenal as a 22-year-old, reinventing himself from winger to striker, while also shaking off the label of a flop from Juventus. In some respects, the pressure on Gyökeres has been even heavier. Henry joined a side fresh off a domestic double under Arsene Wenger, while Gyökeres arrived from Sporting Lisbon as a £64 million solution. The striker expected to push Arteta's side from perennial runners-up to champions. Henry needed 8 league games to score his first Arsenal goal. Gyökeres' longest drought this season has been 7 matches, a run that often leads strikers to overhaul routines or obsess over missed chances. Instead, the Swede chose patience. How you deal with things depends on who you are. For me, it was about sticking to what worked before and not changing too much. The most important thing is to keep believing in yourself. Henry famously finished his debut season with 9 goals in his final 7 league games. Arsenal will be hoping Gyökeres can produce a similarly explosive run as the campaign reaches its decisive stages. Arsenal strengthened their grip on the Premier League summit with a convincing weekend win over Sunderland. Sparked by a first-half opener from Martin Zubimendi and sealed by a second-half double from substitute Victor Gyökeres, Zubimendi eased the tension inside the Emirates just 3 minutes before the interval, drilling a low strike off the post to give the hosts a deserved lead. After the break, Gyökeres took centre stage, striking twice to wrap up another statement victory and further reinforce the Gunners' title credentials. Facing a stubborn and energetic Sunderland side, Zubimendi claimed his 6th goal of an increasingly influential season. Gyökeres, introduced after half-time, added his 7th and 8th league goals of the campaign, taking his overall tally to 13 and underlining the sense that more are still to come. After the match, Mikel Arteta was glowing in his praise of the 27-year-old striker. Since arriving from Sporting Lisbon last summer, Jorge has already netted 6 times in all competitions in 2026, more than any other Premier League player, while recording 8 goal contributions in as many matches. Arteta highlighted the Swedes' mentality and resilience, saying, "When you wear this shirt, it brings responsibility and expectation. You have to accept that. There will be moments when things flow and others when it's difficult, because the opponent also plays a role and makes life hard for you." He added, "I love his character, the way he approaches every day, how focused he is on the present and what he can give the team. He genuinely wants to help whatever role he's asked to play." On a gloomy, rain-flecked afternoon in Islington, Arsenal was still without bukayosaka and Martinodegaard, though Jurriën Timber returned to the starting lineup. Arteta made 5 changes from the midweek League Cup win over Chelsea, bringing in David Raya, Ricardo Calafiori, Kaihavertz, Leandro Trossard and Gabrieljesus, while Kepa, Piero Hincapié, Gabrieljesus, Gabi Martinelli and Gyökeres started on the bench. Sunderland boss Regis Lebris stuck with the same 11 that had beaten Burnley 3-0 earlier in the week. The opening half hour was high on intensity but short on clear chances, with both sides battling for control. On 29 minutes, Declan Rice, a leading contender for player of the season, fired narrowly wide with a fierce effort that looked agonisingly close on replay. Soon after, Jesus tested Robin Rice with a low shot from the left, comfortably gathered by the Sunderland goalkeeper. Arsenal's pressure finally told moments before half-time. Zubimendi struck powerfully from range, the ball clipping Ruif's right-hand post before nestling in the net after a neat setup from Trossard, prompting a roar of relief as much as celebration from the home crowd. The lead nearly doubled straight away when Jesus burst through onto a perfectly weighted Havertz pass and tangled with the defence. Appeals for a penalty followed, but VAR ruled the Brazilian marginally offside in the build-up. Sunderland emerged strongly after the restart. Kemsdean Talby forced a sharp save from Raya, and Gabriel produced a superb last-ditch tackle to deny captain Try Hume just as he prepared to shoot. Arsenal responded with Havertz firing wide, fully aware that a 1-goal cushion remained fragile. The afternoon also carried a nostalgic edge, with former gunner Granit Xhaka in attendance despite injury, alongside the return of ex-academy defender Dan Ballard. Club legend Niall Quinn was also present, sharing a light-hearted pre-match moment with the crowd, as the fixture was jokingly dubbed the Niall Quinn Derby. Any lingering nerves were eased on the hour when Arteta introduced Gyökeres and Martinelli. 6 minutes later, Gyökeres made his mark, smashing home a powerful finish after fine work from Trossard and an assist from Havertz to make it 2-0. The strike was all force rather than finesse, a thunderous blow that finally allowed both team and supporters to relax. With the tension lifted, thoughts briefly drifted to an upcoming Wembley trip as Arsenal continued to dominate with confidence. Gyökeres completed his brace shortly before full-time, converting from close range after Martinelli surged forward from halfway and selflessly squared the ball. Martinelli's delight matched, if not exceeded, that of the scorer, and even drew a rare smile from the usually reserved Swede, a small but telling sign of the unity within this Arsenal squad.